Just read an introduction, and we'll go from there. Okay, we can roll on this. Do you want to record it? Yeah. Okay, there we go. From Nevada Public Radio, I'm Joe Shaneman. It's State of Nevada. You know, we've all felt that fear when the check engine light emerges on the dashboard of your car. Well, what does it even mean? How much is it going to cost me? We're all thinking the same thing. Or worse, your car starts to smoke. You pop the hood, you have no idea what you're looking at or what to do next. Or maybe you hit the gas and the car sputters or it makes that ticking sound. Today, we're talking about car issues, and we want to hear from you. Call us with your car concerns. 702-258-3552. That's 702-258-3552. You can email son@knpr.org. Message us on Twitter at KNPR News or on Facebook at Nevada Public Radio. And we have two longtime mechanics here in the Las Vegas area. Bobby is a mechanic and the owner of the auto shop 5-Star Auto Repair. And Jesse Moreno is a mechanic and owner of Genuine Auto Services, also based in Vegas. Bobby, Jesse, welcome to State of Nevada.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Jesse, Bobby, move closer to
Do you need me close?
That's it.
Better?
So I want to start with electric cars, because the Ford Motor Company recently said they're going to lay off 3,000 employees because they're transitioning to electric vehicles. This is only about 1% of their total employee base, but I guess we might be expecting more of these layoffs as electric vehicles become more common. And Bobby, your business does normal auto work, but it also focuses on maintenance for classic vehicles. Are you getting electric vehicle issues yet in your shop?
Negative. No, hybrid. Yeah, hybrid. We've definitely seen the Prius, but EV, no, not at all, not yet.
What about you, Jesse?
We're starting to get questions with regards to the electric vehicles, and my technicians are actually already looking into the adequate tools because we have to go ahead and get insulated tooling basically for the EV vehicles. Some of them are actually already going to be going to school to take courses for them, so we're getting prepared, but no, we don't get as much as we should, or I would expect.
Yeah. Do you think it's going to hurt your business? Why are there fewer issues with electric vehicles? Just because there are fewer parts? Talk about that a bit.
Well, length of time. They haven't been on the road for that long, so fewer issues yet. But I don't think it's going to hurt. Well, not my business in per se, because I actually am part owner of an electric vehicle company. We actually produce MIMS motors, so we're actually involved in that as well. Now, as far as 5-Star Auto, the shop, I don't think it's going to hurt my business at all because I'm aimed at classic cars.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
Jesse.
In the long run, I really doubt it, and if it does, it's not going to be for a long time. You still have to keep in mind that all these other vehicles that are on the road right now are going to need to be able to be maintained so that they can stay on the road. Not everybody's going to transition to electric vehicles immediately.
And again, we're talking cars today. I'm here with Bobby. He's a mechanic and owner of 5-Star Auto Repair, and Jesse Moreno, mechanic and owner of Genuine Auto Services. And maybe you're listening right now and your car's making a strange noise you can't explain. Or how do you best take care of your car in the scorching heat? Give us a call. We have the experts here. 702-258-3552 is the number. 702-258-3552. And you can email son@knpr.org. And on Twitter, we are at KNPR News. Hold on a second, Christopher. I'm going to move here. So we have gotten some questions already through our email, and one person emailed who said her mother's truck randomly just shut off. Sorry, let me say this again. Her mother's truck randomly just shuts off from time to time at stoplights. It's a 2004 Nissan Frontier. Actually, we need more detail than that. But if you had to guess, what would you say is going on there?
I'm gonna let Jesse.
It could be a number of things. We've recently seen some coming in that something as simple as a motor mount, where the motor's basically moving more than that 5-degree variance. It's shutting off the engine because it's basically trying to go ahead and come to a stop where the transmission's keeping up with the car. And what it does, it'll just get like a jolt. But we would need more information in that case. But it could be something as simple as a motor mount, mass airflow sensors that aren't reading right, oxygen sensors, plug catalytic converters. All these things can affect a vehicle. For it to come to a stop or to shut off essentially at a stoplight, I'm going to go ahead and put my money either on a motor mount or maybe even something as simple as a mass airflow sensor.
So a motor mount, what are you talking about? What is that?
So the mount's basically on your engine. typically have 4. Some have up to 5. You've got one for the left side, right side of the motor, especially these front-wheel drive vehicles. In this case, that Frontier would probably be rear-wheel or all-wheel drive. What happens is you've got left, right, front, rear, which is usually transmission mount. As you're coming to a stop, essentially, if your engine's trying to go ahead and slow down, that transmission's downshifting basically. As it's downshifting, what's happening is it's causing it to come to a stop, basically, trying to keep up with the vehicle as you're braking. If that engine or transmission start, shifting this way, it could cause it just kind of like a manual car. When you're coming down and you're downshifting, if you're not getting that timing perfect, you're going to go ahead and stall out the car, and that's essentially what the transmission could potentially be doing, is stalling out the car as it's coming to a stop.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my 5 cents in here.
Please.
I disagree. I've seen it. I have seen it.
Right.
I've seen it once.
Okay.
And I mean, I've been doing this a long time.
Right.
Where it actually, the motor mounts are so bad it pulls on the wiring harness,
That could
disconnecting
be an
whatever
issue as well,
connection,
yeah.
crank sensor, whatever. I
Yeah.
have seen it.
Yeah.
Maybe more than once, maybe twice.
Right.
But it is an invalid question without more information, because any of these problems that we're bringing up on an OBD2 car, which is 96 and newer, we're going to have a check engine light.
Right.
We're going to have a little something to go off of. The computer systems nowadays are pretty finite. I mean, they can basically tell you just about anything. If there's a mouse next to it, what that mouse had for dinner last night, and they're great. So we're going to have a check engine light on. We're going to need a little more information to get really specific. But, fuel pump, if we don't have a check engine light, if there is no check engine light, I'm gonna start looking, putting my money on fuel pump issues. That's probably, that's about it. I mean, everything else is gonna throw a check engine light.
And to Bobby's point, I mean, even with the fuel pump issue, I mean, most of the newer cars now would even go ahead and give you a check engine light for fuel pressure issues as well. So when you don't have a check engine light, to Bobby's point, it's really going to be a mechanical issue. It's not an electrical or anything like that. We need to find out, do we have a check engine light? If we do, start following that path, start following that road, if you will. If you don't, now we have to go ahead and get into the mechanical issue, because you got mechanical and electrical. Everything that's electrical is going to go ahead and give you that OBD2 code, or that, basically you're going to get a code check engine light. If not, we got a mechanical issue going on. We got to figure out, do we have a mount? Do we have, U-joint? What's going on? What's happening here?
I had a 2012 Camry, and when I would start it, it would just make this sound, and nothing would happen. But if I left it alone for a while, sometimes it would start. And this was 2012. I would just see a light. It kind of terrified me. I didn't want to take it to an auto mechanic because I thought the expense would be enormous. So I sold it. But
That's an option.
Yeah.
But what normally what could it have been?
Oh, Jesse, I think you're going to agree with me when it could have been lifters. It could have been your timing chain. It could have been so much. But you're right in the fact that none of them are cheap.
Right.
Now, what are we talking like in expense?
Well, I mean, you could, right.
I mean, when you're talking about lifters, you're talking about doing the cylinder head at that point. You're pulling cylinder head. You have to go ahead and change all the lifters, if you will, if you're going to do it correctly. You could just go ahead and do the lifters without taking off the cylinder head, but still, you're in at about a good $1,500, $2,000 minimum. Right?
Easy. But
minimum.
The only thing that I could think of that you're going to get away with cheap, with that being your symptom, is you had an exhaust leak.
Mm-hmm.
And an exhaust leak will be, there's telltale signs, exhaust leak, as it warms up, the metal expands, the noise will change. And that you're going to get away with being a cheap fix. That is a fairly cheap fix. Anything else but an exhaust leak is going to be an expensive repair.
Yeah. Now, I do have a question. Was it one of those situations where it was turning over and it just wouldn't start, or would it start and you get that tick, 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 tick?
Oh, right when I was starting it, I would get the tick, 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 tick.
Okay.
Sometimes I'd leave it alone for an hour, come back, and it might start.
Okay, so it sounded like you had a hard start issue or a no start issue.
Right.
Okay, so then in that case,
totally different. Yeah, we're both thinking totally different. So you're talking about actually starting, not an engine noise. Yeah, no, I mean, that could have been
fuel pump
starter, anything. I mean, not enough info.
Yeah, if it's turning over and you're getting that, but it's not starting, I'm going to go with Bobby's original on the last customer, fuel pump, fuel filter. I mean, anything that's fuel related, something's not giving it the adequate fuel that it needs to start. Now, that's to start. The other thing is, that's where I go back to that mass airflow sensor. If it's not reading correctly, I mean, all those things could have go ahead and affect it. But no check engine light, mechanical, fuel pump, I would think.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fuel pumps.
Mm-hmm.
is it an expensive proposition?
Depends on the vehicle.
Absolutely. Lamborghini. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Your Nissan Sentra, if it's the one that has the access port, no, it's very easy. I mean, you can. It'll be relatively inexpensive. What's going to be expensive is a pump. The labor is going to be not as bad as the cost of the pump.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Not thousands.
Right.
Hundreds.
Hundreds. You're not in the 1,000 range. Now, if we happen to have to drop the fuel tank, depending upon the vehicle, that's when you start getting up into that high hundreds range.
I'm here with Jesse Moreno, mechanic, owner of Genuine Auto Services, and Bobby, mechanic and owner of 5-Star Auto Repair. And we're talking about your car, my car, everybody's car. We all have issues. None of us want to see those lights go on the dashboard because we're thinking all the money it's going to cost us to fix it. So maybe these two here can provide you with some advice on what you should do. Should you do it right away? And we just got a call from Tom who said he has a VW and he had a 2007 VW, and he took it in, and they said something called the bushings were wearing out. I have no idea what a bushing is. Is that something? He said he could still drive the car, but they told him if you didn't get these bushings fixed, it would lead to major problems down the road. So first of all, what is a bushing, and is it that serious of a problem?
A lot of different bushings on the car. It depends on which bushing. Are we talking suspension
what is
bushings?
What is it?
A bushing is a piece of rubber. I mean, most of the time now you can have metal bushings. A bushing is, Jesse, go with me here. The easiest way to explain a bushing is a piece of something, a piece of material in between another piece of material. It's a bushing in between.
In most cases, it's meant to cushion whatever it is, the absorption, the energy from, movement and stuff. It's just, that's why in most cases the rubber, but as Bobby said, now with the newer vehicles, we're starting to see metal bushings. Usually cylinders